All right, here
All
we
right.
are with Alma Collins for our Black Voices Artist Chat. Welcome, my dear. Welcome.
Welcome back at you. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So tell us the name of your show and a little bit about what it's about.
The show is called Strong Like Honey. Honey was my grandmother. And when I first started writing, really didn't know what I was going to write about. I just went to the retreat, Adila's a retreat in Atlanta,
Mhm.
walked in the door of my laptop, and I wrote for 4 days. And I just let it free flow. And it turned into Strong Like Honey.
Wow. I love that. So then you wrote it it took you 4 days, and then I'm sure that you did some rewrites after that as well, right?
Yeah,
Or did you
yeah.
have your show in 4 days?
Well, actually, I didn't have the whole thing. And when I did the hot off the press,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't have a show. I had thoughts and things I had written, but I hadn't put it together. So I put together that 15-minute excerpt.
Mm-hmm.
But that 15-minute excerpt is really what gave me the groundwork to expand.
Yes.
And I don't claim to be a writer. I'm an actress who's been away from it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have to promote yourself or put yourself out there. My agent retired. I haven't been in the game for a while. I don't have an agent, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't done a show since 1929.
And you look
And
fabulous.
thank you. And I have to say, Adila, all the time, every year she would have the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. She'd say, Alma, when are you going to do your show? And it was really through her encouragement and being blessed with the gift of that 4 days at the retreat.
Mm-hmm.
It just, it was time to try it.
Yeah.
Try it.
Beautiful. And so you mentioned Adila. So she is your director, right?
And I've known Adila for probably almost 30 years.
Mm.
I started taking her classes, and then when she was working on Roseanne, sometimes she, Alma, can you cover my class for me? So I had learned so much. I learned so much from Adila.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I'd say she's my mentor, she's my friend, she's my director, she's my provocateur. She provoked me
Mhm.
and didn't give up on me and had faith in me. And yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's beautiful to have that support. So are you going to submit for the LA Women's Theater Festival this year for our
You
next?
better know that I'm trying to, this, I have never had to market myself. You audition for a show, you get cast, you memorize your lines, you're at every rehearsal, you're on time for the shows. I've never had to do some of the things I'm needing to do now. The marketing thing is just like, whoo, so it
Job. It's a job.
is no
I mean, it really is. When the solo show, I mean, yes, so many times you have collaborators, you have your director, you have the tech team, you have all these people that sort of help you with the show. But at the end of the day, it is a solo show. So you end up being your producer, your own producer, your
all of that.
marketer, all of that. So there's a lot that goes into it.
And even running lines, if you're, in the show with somebody else, you can meet, you can rehearse together. It was a lot,
Yeah.
but I already have an idea for something else I want to write about.
Oh,
And
nice.
I just think there's things on my mind, and I think I found a platform
Mm-hmm.
to not only entertain, because I'm not there to go through my therapy with you. I'm not there to preach to you,
Mm-hmm.
but there are things that's on my mind. So when you bring the craft and something that inspires you together,
Yes.
then you have a show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to go. I don't want to see somebody's therapy.
Right.
I
Right.
want to be, I want to hear your story, but I don't want to see your therapy. So I don't know how better to explain that. I just know what I want to do is entertain you, but
Yeah.
provoke you to think.
Mhm.
So when you walk away, if somebody says to you, "What did you do last night?" I don't want you to have to say, well, let me think. I want you to say, "You know what? I saw this show and blah, 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 blah."
Mhm.
That's my goal always.
Lovely. And so tell us a little bit about Honey. Tell us a little bit about your mother.
Well, I don't want to spoil too much, but I grew up in Venice, California.
Mhm.
Honey was my grandmother.
Your grandmother.
Yes. And Miss Frankie was my mother. And truth be told, Honey is the one that formed and shaped me. Um, and in the latter years, some things shifted and changed. So I don't want to just like give away the whole plot. It's not that deep,
Right.
but at the same time, Honey, there's a reason why it's called Strong Like Honey. And
Mhm.
I have to tell you, even in the writing, even in the storytelling, Honey really did try to take over.
Mm.
And I had to like take some things out and not leave my mother out of the story.
Oh,
I mean, for real. I
interesting.
had to do that because that's part of the story.
Yeah.
Honey. It was Honey.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, and your people are originally, where are they originally from?
Texas.
Mhm.
On both sides of the family, my father, all of his people, basically Texas, Nacogdoches, St. Augustine, Galveston, Houston, Dangerfield.
Mhm.
Some parts of the family on my father's side from Oklahoma. I don't really know them.
Mhm.
But Texas on both sides, I'm Texas. And I've been told I'm country, even though I was born and raised
Ain't
in Venice,
nothing wrong, ain't
California.
nothing wrong with being country.
I've been told I'm country, so
Uh-huh.
it's all right
Yeah.
with me.
What was it like growing up in Venice? I mean, when people think about Venice, they think about Venice Beach only,
And
right?
see, this is the key. There's so much history about Venice. There were Black families living in Venice from the early 1900s, but if you look at any of the history books,
Mhm.
you won't see Black people in Venice. But one of the biggest property owners in Venice was a Black woman. Property all over Venice. There was a lot of families. I don't want to say the names because they may not want the names said, but my grandmother moved to Venice in the somewhere in the early 40s.
Mhm.
Venice. And that's a little known fact. And that's one of the things that some of the people in Venice is trying to bring to light the indigenous peoples that originally were in Venice. There's a store in Venice, I won't say the store's name, but when they began to excavate to build that store, they found bones over a Native American graveyard.
Mm.
My father built a church on Westminster and 7th Avenue that we're fighting tooth and nail to preserve. There used to be Black churches, mom and pop stores, Black owned all over Venice.
Wow.
And Venice had a bad reputation, but wasn't nothing wrong with Venice. It wasn't no worse than no place else. It's just people come to Venice, buy their drugs, act up, and then leave, and Venice will get the reputation.
Of course, yeah.
But it was very diverse. My neighbors were Mexican and Japanese and Black and it was just different.
Mhm.
More, it was diverse. So and very artistic. A lot of. I remember the hippies and the beatniks and all of that. At Venice Beach growing up, and but I will say that's why I left Venice because is gone.
Mhm.
Gentrification really took the flavor, the uniqueness. So when people talk about Venice now, they don't know the Venice I grew up with.
Mm.
It's gone.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I presume that we'll get a little sense of it when we come see your show.
A little taste,
A little,
a little taste.
little
Mhm.
taste of honey.
Yeah, yeah.
Taste of honey. Okay. Okay, good. And so you did this show at the Fringe this summer. How was that for you? Because that was your first time performing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even get a run through. My run throughs were the 3 performances
Oh, wow.
that I did.
Hmm.
And the support was amazing. It was just, but it was a lot. It was a lot. The Fringe is a lot. And
Mhm.
I work full time. I've never done it before. So all I can say is it was a lot. But the theater that I was in, it was lovely. They answered my questions. They were patient with me, so
Mhm.
supportive. I had some friends that came to the show 3 times. I have some friends came twice. I
Wow.
have one friend. She came. She brought 3 people. Then she came again and brought her mother and 2 more people.
Aw.
And I got flowers like, I said, Lord, am I getting ready to die? Because I had so many flowers, sometimes I couldn't even hold all of them every time.
Oh, so nice.
And but the main thing is the response. I could hear in a way when I'm on stage, I don't hear in a way, but in a way I do. And some of the moments in the show to hear the response from the audience. Um, it's not that I'm trying to make people cry, but my son, I found out that my son wept. I
Mm.
was really kind of not nervous about him seeing the show because I shared some things he had never heard before.
Uh-huh.
He had never heard them before, but he was so proud of me. He just kept hugging me. He just, it was a lot. And I'll tell you something real quick.
Mhm.
When I did the excerpt for Hot Off the Press,
Yes.
I was doing Jessica's Johnson's workshops on
Mhm.
Saturday.
Mhm.
So one Saturday I was on the way there and I was saying to God, I talk to God out loud when I'm by myself, like, Lord, I don't know if I can do this. Who wants to hear my story? And I don't, and all of that. And real quiet on the inside. I just got this quietness that said, I've given you everything that you need.
Mm.
So I get there. I did the free flow exercise that Jessica gives, and I never share. But that day I said, I'm going to share. So I'm sitting on the steps, getting ready to share. And this lady tapped me on the shoulder and she said, I saw what you did a few months ago. And I want you to know it changed my life. Accountability. See, we are given gifts and talents,
Mhm.
but we will be held accountable. Because one of the things that I heard that I never forgot this minister said, he said, when you don't do the thing God created you to do, somebody else is going to miss their blessing.
Ooh.
So that's accountability.
Yeah.
Then after I shared the little piece I wrote, this lady says to me, you're powerful on stage. You're charismatic. So what's holding you back? I mean, she kind of came at me, although she didn't realize she was coming at me because she don't know my internal dialogue.
Mhm.
And I said, but who wants to hear my story? And that's the thing I always fought. Who wants to hear my story? But
Mhm.
then people began to say, everybody, everybody, we are held accountable to our gifts.
Yes.
It's not for us. It's not for our name up in lights, although I'll take it. It's not for money, I'll take it. But if you don't do it, the thing that God created you to do, somebody gonna miss their blessing.
Yes.
If
Oh.
you never hear the story,
Mhm.
but when that lady said that to me, then I said, okay, Alma, there's accountability.
Yes. I love that. That's perfect. I mean, I think that um a lot of people are going to need to hear this because I've had people come up to me, uh, people that I'm working with, clients, or people who are thinking about doing a show, and they say the same thing of, who's going to care about my story? But you don't know how many people you can touch with just
You don't know.
story.
And the key is there's nothing necessarily unique about my story.
Mhm.
It's just how I tell it,
Mm.
how I tell it. It's
Yeah.
not all that unique and special. A lot of people I'm learning a lot of people have been through what I've been through. And I
Mhm.
learned that from the people who came to the show
Yes.
who want to talk afterwards. But, we're
Yeah.
held accountable, Juliet.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
accountable.
All right. Well, it was really great chatting with you. And please just tell us the name of your show again and when it's going to be and where they can get tickets.
My show is Strong Like Honey, October 2nd, Saturday night 8 p.m. Purchase your tickets at www.whitefiretheater.com. Black Voices Solo Festival. How's
Yes.
that? And it's theater
Beautiful.
spelled with a R-E.
Yes. R-E.
Okay. Don't
Yes.
get it twisted.
I will put it in my
R-E.
post. Yeah. All right. Great. Lovely. Beautiful chatting with you. And I can't wait to see your show. I'll finally get to see it on Saturday.
Yes.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
All right. Have a beautiful day.
All righty. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.